Welcome to Rotary District 5020's quarterly online membership training seminar, Lead Generation at the Club Level. This is a quarterly series in online membership development training for our district. We are recording these sessions and they'll be made available on the District 5020 website under District Areas of Service and the drop-down membership. And I just want to thank everyone who's logged on tonight. So my name is Corey Leparty, and I'm your District 5020 Membership Development Chair, and I'll be facilitating tonight's online training. Now, if you'd like to ask questions, you can type questions in the chat pane in the lower right of the control panel. I'll try to answer questions as we go if possible, and then again at the end of the session if there's time. We have about 60 minutes planned for today's session, so we'll see how things go. And also remember that questions are public unless you select the private chat in the chat control panel. And that's down where it says all entire audience on the screen that you're looking at there. So tonight we have lead generation at the club level. And over the years, Rotary has created many campaigns and materials to encourage Rotarians to participate in Rotary membership attraction. I'm sure there's the sponsorship recognition program, for instance, that you might be aware of. It allows Rotarians to receive special pin backers designating how many Rotarians they've sponsored, and they've had infographics explaining the universal benefits that new members would bring if they joined. But the fact is that only 20% of District 5020 active members have ever sponsored a new member. And I actually did the math on this a while back, and it was true then that only 2 out of every 10 Rotarians in our district have ever brought a member into Rotary. So after we did last quarter's online training, there was a request that we cover the topic of finding ways to generate new member leads at the club level. And then the hope that was that people in our clubs who are really good at bringing in members could use those leads to grow their clubs. So the first thing we're going to look at tonight is Rotary's prospective member exercising, finding new club members. Now you should all have received a copy of this in an email and hopefully have had a few minutes to get familiar with it. Now this is the process that you're going to want to schedule time for, and you might have a club meeting that's just dedicated to walking your members through the form and filling it out. The expected outcome from this process is to develop a pool of potential candidates for membership, determine how to introduce prospective members to your club, and get new members who are all well vetted and more likely to stay members. So step 1 in this process is to ask members to complete the Identifying Prospective Members worksheet. And on that worksheet, you want them to list a couple of professional contacts they may have from professional associations, their own business, other businesses they work with regularly, types of people that would make good members. And then you're also going to have them list a couple of people that they've met, hopefully through a past club service project that would also make good members. Now, then you're going to have members list their community contacts. Now, these are professionals they may see off and on, like their dentist or lawyer, or someone they've met through networking, or maybe someone who they've used their service. And again, these are people that would make good members of your club. And finally, you want them to list a couple of Rotary contacts. Now, these are people who your club has come in contact with in the past, whose lives may now be at a point where it makes sense for them to join Rotary. This can also be a good place for Rotarians who've been in your club for a while, so some of your senior members, to help remember those Interact students that are now graduated from college, or people your club may have helped out with a scholarship or something, and that they connected with somewhere along the way. Now, once you've had your members fill out these forms, and you've collected, hopefully, a bunch of names of potential new Rotarians, it's time for your membership committee to take over the process and move to step 2. And step 2 is making an action plan. Now, this is where your committee will take the names that you've generated from your club members and determine who to contact. Now, not all leads make sense as Rotarians, and you may get enough names that you want to target specific groups first before others. So you want to figure out, once you have the list, who you or what you want to invite them to. And it's important for your committee to have a clear strategy for how you're going to introduce particular new members to your club and what it does. You don't just want to invite everybody to a regular membership meeting or a regular club meeting. Next, you'll need to decide who will invite the prospective members, and you may want to break the lists up and have some team committee members work on the lists separately. You'll also want to make sure that you're tracking all of these leads and how come up with a system of how you'll follow up with them to make sure that you aren't just inviting them to a meeting and then forgetting all about them the next week. Step 3 is actually inviting the prospective members to club events. Now you can invite them to a club social like you see in the picture there. This is a more relaxed environment, and some potential members will find this a better way to find out about your club. You can have them participate in a club service project. This is also a good way to get people who don't know much about Rotary to find out firsthand what Rotary and your club does in the community. Or you can invite them to a special meeting where you can help them understand what it is your club does and why joining Rotary is great for them. So step 4 is probably the hardest part, and that's the follow through. You'll want to follow up with prospective members to get their interests in joining the club, and if they didn't attend a club meeting already, invite them to attend a couple of meetings before asking them to fill out a membership form. You want to make sure to keep tracking the data of your efforts so that you have something to go on for future membership efforts. And you'll want to reach out to prospective members even if they don't join your club for the first time you ask them. Maybe there's something keeping them from joining now that won't be there in a month or 6 months or a year. Now, while this is a great way to get potential membership leads for your club, there's also some other exercises. There's a couple of useful exercises you might want to have your club participate in that can also generate new leads and shape your club into one that reflects its community. There is the diversifying your club exercise, which also is in the materials that you received that I sent out in the email, as well as the representing communities professions exercise. Both of these can take weeks or months to accomplish and should be something that your membership committee takes on as a group. You don't want to just put one person in charge of going through these forms and trying to get all this information. They can, however, be very beneficial in creating a strategy for growing your club. So in a few minutes, we'll open things up to the group and get your feedback on whether you've used any of these tools or not and your success with them. But first, I wanted to offer a couple of other ideas for generating new club leads. So one is this idea of having a free lunch giveaway at your club. Now, what you do is you have members bring business cards of prospective members and write their name on the back, as well as having your guests, and then they all drop the cards in a bucket as they enter your meeting. So if you routinely have guests, but you don't know a good way to track them coming and going, you just have them drop their business card in. So each meeting, you would give away a free lunch to the visitor or club member who has their card chosen. It's a great incentive for current members to bring in leads because they've got that chance for a free lunch. And it's a great way to get visitors who win a free lunch to come back again and visit your club one more time. Now, after the meeting, you're going to want to empty that container of all those cards and use it as a way to create another type of potential member list. It's a list your committee can use to follow up with in the same way you would as if you did the Finding New Club Members exercise. So another idea is to have a Rotary reunion. Now, every club has a list of members that are no longer in the club for one reason or another, and why not have a special meeting or event where you invite past members to attend for old time's sake? And if you don't want to invite them as a group, you could always invite them individually to coffee or lunch and catch up with them. You might find that whatever led them away from your club is no longer the case anymore, and a friendly invite to reconnect might just be what they're looking for. At this time, I'd like to open things up to the group and get your feedback on whether you've used any of these tools or not and the success you've had with them, or if you had any other ideas for generating leads that we could all benefit from. So I'm going to unmute everybody now. Alrighty, so were there any...
We have tried finding new club members, and I used the format that's outlined in this this 4-page article. And so that went quite well. We divided into 4 groups, and we got 25 members or 25 names. So we haven't followed those up yet because we're busy doing this Rotary auction dinner planning. But that was an interesting way to do it.
So you've got these 25 names. Do you guys have an action plan for how you're going to follow up with them?
Not yet, no.
Not yet.
But then we went to that membership summit, and I like the idea of these 12 letters. So I haven't had a chance yet to to go through it to see which ones would be useful.
Okay. Yeah.
But we're going to take a look at that.
So yeah, let me talk about the 12 letters. So there was a series of letters created, and they're available on the Rotary Zone website under membership, and they're also available on our district website under membership. And the idea of these letters is that when you have a new member, particularly, but I suppose they could be reframed for prospective members as well, you would send one letter out a week. And just the letters run through getting people to understand what Rotary is, what we do. And it's everything from logging on to myrotary.org to Service Above Self to Rotary's mission to all the different areas of service. And they're all broken down in one-page letters that your membership chair or your president could sign and send out. And they could be emailed or they could actually be physically mailed. And it's just a good way to, especially when you've got new members, keep them engaged and in contact. Because the first 3 months of a new member's cycle or life in Rotary is probably the most important to keep them engaged and get them to be Rotarians.
So this is for new members. This isn't for prospective.
Well, it was originally created for new members, but like I said, if you go through the letters, I bet you could redraft some of the wording to make it work for potential members as well.
Is this document available on the web in a format that would allow for making changes on it without typing the whole thing?
Yes, so all of them are Word documents that you're meant to update them because you want to put in your own club's information and things like that. So yeah, they're
Right.
fully editable.
Thank you.
All right. So do we have anybody else who's got any thoughts or ideas on lead programs, lead generation that they've used?
Corey?
Yes.
Hi. This is Kathy. What we've done is we've done the free lunches for visitors,
Yeah.
and that's been very helpful in encouraging people to bring guests. So that's been good. And in the past, we have, passed around those questionnaires, for people that we know, but we haven't had the follow through, and I think that's been one of our problems. So,
Okay.
Yeah, we'll work on that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that once you have guests that are getting the free lunch, how you kind of track them and how you contact them again.
Yeah, and they've been the sponsors have been really good, with keeping in contact with them and that sort of thing. So, but it just needs to be a little bit more systematized so that they don't fall through the cracks.
Okay.
We have tried that by putting into the hands of the new members club an invitation to new members or to new members of the community, inviting them for a free lunch. And we've had a couple. We've had these also distributed by the Welcome Wagon. And so they give them out in the packages, but we've had very few follow-ups. So that essentially hasn't worked all that well for our community.
Gotcha. Okay. And has anybody tried a program of inviting past Rotarians back for any sort of get together?
We did a 40th anniversary for our club, and we had a lot of the people that had left the club that came, and so especially the founding members and that sort of thing, and it was great. And I think that's a wonderful idea. I understand one of our past members is looking at coming back because he's kind of stepping back out of his business, so there's an opportunity there to talk to some of those folks, and so I've got that on the list too as a potential.
Great. Well, anybody else? And again, there'll be another question and answer period at the end. Any other thoughts on this topic before I move on? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody again for the recording, and then I will unmute when we get to the question and answer period. So there's one other thing that I'd like to cover tonight, and that's Rotary International's online membership leads program. And you've got a document that I sent you called Connect to Membership Leads. This program will route your club leads that come in from Rotary International's website. You can log in to my.rotary.org to access them. Now, the reason why I'm including a mention of RI's leads program is that, as you can see on this slide here, most of the leads that come in, especially these are leads from the last year, are the types of leads we're looking for in our clubs. They're connected to Rotary already, they're under the age of 40, and 35% of them are women. But the alarming thing is that over 60% of people who take the time to fill out Rotary's online lead form, they're never contacted. So I'm going to go through how our district is handling the leads that come from RI. First, potential members fill out a form on Rotary.org. That is then vetted by Rotary International, and if they believe it's a legit lead, then it's emailed to our district. Now, the district membership committee assigns the lead to the assistant governor in the area that the lead matches up with. And our district, if you don't know, is divided into 17 areas, and each area has its own assistant governor. Now, when the lead is passed on, the district membership committee updates the Rotary International website to let RI know that the lead has been passed on to the AG. And the AG then contacts the lead and finds a club that is a good fit for their schedule. The AG then updates the RI website to let Rotary International know that the lead has been assigned to a club. This prompts the system to generate an email that the club should receive. They should then connect with the potential member if the assistant governor hasn't already brought them to a club meeting and introduced them directly. The club would then update the Rotary lead on RI's website to let RI know if they are up for membership or if they're not a good fit for the club. And then the club follows its plan for new members. And at the district level, on top of all of this, we are following up with potential leads at 30 and 60 days to make sure that they've been contacted by somebody and are connecting with clubs. So in the packet I sent you, I included an instruction document on how to manage membership leads for clubs, and that should have been in that material. And you can go through that, and it'll walk you through a 5-step process of how to log on and how to find that information. You can also watch a tutorial on the process by typing in the link on your screen, and it's the Vimeo link down there at the bottom. Now, if you get a lead for a potential new member that just isn't a good fit for your club, you can refer them to another club in your area, or you can contact me as your district membership chair, and I'll offer assistance in finding a good fit for them at another club. Or you could also refer them to www.rotary.org/membership referral, and Rotary will assist them directly. Now, I'd like to make sure to point out the upcoming district membership training opportunities that are available. District conference training is up next week on May 4th, and there are 5 training sessions on membership that you can take advantage of. They are using new club models to attract members, building people into great Rotarians mentoring, perfect partners, public information and membership. You've got members, now engage and retain them, and great ideas that work for developing new clubs. And I also want to let you know that our next quarterly online training is July 25th to kick off the next Rotary year, and we're looking for topic ideas to cover for that training. And also, please feel free to invite all the members of your committees and anyone else you think might be interested in these trainings, as we'd love to have more people on. Now I'm going to open things up for questions again and unmute everyone. All right, do we have any questions?
Corey, how could I get that packet? I don't seem to find it in the email or anything.
Okay, so it would have been in the email I sent out today that had your information on how to log in for tonight's meeting. There was attachments at the bottom, but I will go ahead and send that packet out again with the slides from tonight's meeting to anyone who registered.
Okay, great, thank you.
Corey, it's John. We have in Area 3 have had one membership lead through RI, And when it popped up, it was in my own town. And I picked up the telephone and said, hello. And I went down and met the people. And the following week, they were at the husband and wife team. Were at the meeting, duly impressed, signed up. Now they're members.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, I have been remiss in going back and filling out the paperwork along the way to say, yeah, we scored a home run. But boy, it clearly, if you can get on that quickly, and your area assistant governor rather is tuned in, yeah, you can strike a home run pretty easy. These people are really interested in what's Rotary doing, and I know the majority of the emails come in for the US side, a lot fewer for Canada, maybe like 20-1 in a ratio of, I would estimate. But gee, anything you can get is a win for them, so that they really get to experience a lot of neat things about Rotary.
Yeah. Well, and I think in general, we've got other clubs and other districts in the U.S. that are doing a little bit broad marketing, and I don't know because I'm not up there if that's taking place in Canada as well. You know, it's the type of thing where once somebody sees a Rotary club and they see the Rotary website, if they have an interest, they'll probably fill out the form. But if they don't see the club website, if they don't see Rotary.org and know that that's where they need to go to fill out the form, and your club doesn't have anything on its page to makes it easy, then they might not be getting that. And I don't know if that's U.S. and Canada, but I know in Tacoma and some of the areas around here, we benefit from the marketing that the Seattle area is doing, definitely, because they're marketing at the airport and things like that.
Very good.
All right. So, any other questions, thoughts? All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for logging in tonight and taking part and attending.